Okay, so what we want to know is there a season of good or a season of bad in the Toronto real estate market? And the answer is yes, there's some seasonality. Now, the number one rule of real estate is supply and demand. So that throws everything out the window.
Okay.
So, in the general case, where people are buying for their own use, as their own home,
Yes.
they will buy at a time that's most advantageous to them. Everything boils down to time and money. So, in Toronto, we have two main factors, the weather and the school year.
Okay.
Most of the customers we're dealing with are families. And so they're gonna key their purchase, the completion date, to the school year, for the maximum convenience of their children, and the minimum inconvenience by the weather.
Right.
So, there's also a lag.
Okay.
That the higher income, price range, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
the customer is, the longer the lag.
Okay.
That if you're buying your first condo and you're moving out of your parents' basement, you may buy something 6 weeks prior to closing. If you're in a rental and all of a sudden you get a lump of dough, you may buy something 6 weeks before the start of school, and you'll move your child into some fantastic school for the beginning. So July the 15th becomes the bargain basement type of home with a school target.
Yes.
After that, you've lost them. There's not enough time
Yeah.
for that
those
buyer-
group of people.
for that group. Conversely, if you are selling something for 1.75,
Yes.
or maybe they're buying at 1.75
Is it
and they're
different?
going into a school district, they'll be buying in January or February. But they have to buy out of the available inventory.
Right.
So maybe there's nothing until this time.
Yeah.
So you can only buy what's for sale. So if you want to move next June, next July, you have to buy now because you see the right thing,
Right.
and find someone that wants that long closing,
Right.
or those are the two things you're juggling. So how this is reflected in all of Toronto's sales. Now, this is a composite from 2006 to 2016.
10 years.
Okay, so you see a trend.
Yes.
So, what we have, and this is the number of sales reported in Treb's district, which goes from like past Burlington up to past Newmarket, out past Oshawa. So it's a huge cross section.
GTA almost.
Yes, it's greater than that. So what we have is January
Yes.
and December
Okay.
are the lowest arranged sales. Why? Who wants to move in March, which is the normal lag? Who wants to move in February? Nobody. It's the middle of winter.
Right.
Nobody's offering it. Nobody wants it. But a certain number of people will buy in January for closings in March, May, September. Same thing over here, just like we said. What do you do if you can't find it? So the fewest number of sales are arranged then,
Right.
because it's the furthest away from June, September, the school. It's the worst weather, particularly in the time you want to go. Now, if you go to any year, the month with the greatest number of sales is going to be April or May,
Yeah.
because you got everybody, all price ranges, all active.
Yeah. 4, 5, 6 approximately. The month 4, 5, 6 is the
Everybody wants to. Now,
Yes.
why is March good? Because March is closing in July.
closing would be then. Yes.
All right? So this one, I got June closing, I got September closing, I got everything closing. Now, as we said before, once you come to the July the 15th, you haven't got this going back to school people anymore.
Yes.
But what you do have is the people who want to buy before winter, who want to buy before the
Who
snow.
eliminated already. And then
So
there's
here's the fall rally.
Yes.
That for some reason they didn't buy in this crush because they weren't ready, because they hadn't sold their house yet, because they, who knows?
Yes.
You know, they didn't get married yet, whatever the reason is. They didn't get divorced yet.
Right.
So this is the big spring and then the fall rally.
Right.
So the lag is the thing that people don't think about,
Yes.
and then also the school term.
Yes.
So when is the best time? We go back to the very beginning, supply and demand. If you're looking, like especially for a buy-sell customer that's selling something to buy something else.
Yes.
So, what's the most important thing when you're a buy-sell customer?
To get the most, like in the market, to be able to show.
What's more
them.
important, the sell or the buy?
I think the most important is to sell for the right price.
Okay, it's a trick question.
Okay.
Because there's only one answer that applies all the time. The answer that applies all the time is you do the tough thing first. Sometimes it's hard to buy. Right now it's hard to buy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to sell.
Yeah.
Other times, which we haven't seen since 1996, it's a long time,
Yes.
apart from 2 quarters, the fourth quarter of 2001 and the fourth quarter of 2008 and the first quarter of 2009. Every other time has been a seller's market. Every other time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that anybody knows. So in the seller's market, you must buy first. You got to cap your costs. Otherwise, if you sell first, now you're going to be chasing the market and multiple offers.
Sorry, seller's market, you have to buy?
Buy first, sure. Cap your if you're a buy-sell customer.
Yeah, because you don't want your customer to be without house because it's a seller's.
Yes, you can always sell. You can always sell. You
But
know what it's going to be.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I always tell people you gotta sell first because and for the right money that you want, because worst case scenario you're gonna rent. But maybe I have a wrong mindset, right?
Okay. For a real estate salesman, you want them to sell first.
Yes.
Now, you've got that deal tied up,
Okay.
and they've got to buy.
Yes.
But that's the wrong motivation. That's what's best for your selfish,
okay.
monetary,
Yeah.
pecuniary interest.
Right.
What's best for them is always to do the tough thing first.
Yes.
Yeah.
To buy
Which depending on the
first.
depending on the market conditions.
Yes.
It's not about buying first, it's about doing the tough thing first. If it's hard to buy, so and that's where this other stuff comes into it. There may be nothing for sale right now, but you're only looking for one house.
Mm-hmm.
So identify the parameters. It is a school district.
Right.
What is it that they really, really, really want as number one,
What's
number
their
2, and
need?
number
Yeah.
3, and then you can concentrate on those because you can't.
Prioritize the needs and what they are using it for, and then go
Well,
from there, no?
if you've shown them everything that's for sale, they don't like anything. Now you're only looking for one house, but you
Yeah.
can't look everywhere for one house and
That's
participate
true.
in multiple offers and all these different. You just can't keep
Absolutely.
track of it.
Sure.
So you got to narrow it down to something. Now maybe it's going to be C4, maybe it's going to be Markham, but at least it's narrowed down.
Yes.
And that's why this buyer agency and is so important because you've got to do all the work first, and then everything else is going to fall into place.
Okay.
Now I don't know how much of a video that is
But
because.